How can a nurse impact a patient's physical health, mental health, and emotional health?
Oh my goodness, that's a lot. That's a big question. How can we impact all of that? Okay, number one, physically, we take care of their physical needs. And then when they are a patient, they've got a lot of emotional stuff going on. So the more that we can support them and encourage them and educate them and what's happening, take away some of their fear, okay, that really makes a big difference. And what was the other one?
Mental health.
Mental health. I think that kind of goes together, okay? So if we can eliminate their fears and let them know that we're there for them, to care for them, we want the best for them.
What kind of physical things do you do for a patient?
Whatever their care plan says, number one, okay? So whatever treatments, those kinds of things that they need. But in addition to that, we want to make sure that they're really comfortable, that they have everything they need, that they have their call lights, so that they know that they can call me at any time if they have issues. Make sure that they're hydrated, that we're giving them enough fluids. Just make sure that their surroundings are good.
Can a nurse better their life?
Absolutely, we can better their life. Because number one, we're helping them to heal physically. Number two, we're going to give them, hopefully give them reasons to live, okay, if they're really struggling with that.
How much formal education is needed for the field?
For nursing, depends on what you go into. So if you want to be a medical assistant, you can get that in a short period of time. You can get an associate's in medical assistant for like 2 years now. You can get an associate's RN for 2 years. You can get LPN for 1 year. And then if you go for a BSN, which is what most of the hospitals are requiring now, for hiring, is going to be a 4-year degree.
What important characteristics are needed for the field?
Number one, you have to have a heart to help people. If you don't really have a heart and want to help people, you're not going to do well, okay? You need to be organized. You need to be able to have good time management. You need to have good interpersonal skills that you can talk directly to your patient. You'll be dealing with their family members also. So to have good rapport with them is really important. But if you don't have that caring heart, that caring spirit to begin with, you're going to struggle.
What kinds of experience do employers want?
What kind of experience? Well, they're going to want to see, number one, that you've completed all your education, that you have your certificates or your degrees. Oftentimes they want to see that you've had 6 months of experience in a certain area before they would hire you or move you to a new area. So getting your first foot in the door is probably the hardest thing. But once you've got that, then they see that you've been serious about a job for a period of time, and they're willing to risk hiring you, thinking that you'll stay on for a while, because it takes a long time to train somebody.
What do you do if a patient resists care?
Number one, you'd want to ask them why. You know, like, I'm really here to help you. Why do you not want me to care for you today? And kind of talk through that with them, okay? Maybe sometimes they just don't feel well. Maybe they're really nauseous or have a bad headache. And if you say to them, how about if I come back in 20 minutes and see if you're doing better? Sometimes that makes a big difference. So I think that by not pushing them, forcing them at the moment, is maybe an important thing.
Can you describe the organization, like the goal, the size, and the structure?
Tell me that again.
Would you please describe your organization, its goal,
like where I work?
Yeah.
Like where I work right now? Okay, so where I work right now is an education setting. So this is for high school students, 11th and 12th graders. And what I do is I work in the therapeutic lab. And I am training students every day on skills that they need to be able to pass their CNA test.
What kind of training do you receive on the first job?
The first job you get, they're going to give you at least minimum 2 to 3 weeks, okay? Most often more like 6 weeks. And you will work with another staff person and watch how they do things, because every facility does things a little bit different. They're going to want to make sure that you, number one, are very comfortable with the care that you're giving. Number two, that you're accurate in the care that you're giving. They're not going to put you out on your own until they know that you can do this good job, because the safety of the patient is of utmost importance.
Is there an area that's best for starting the career?
I think that it's really important to start with caring for patients. Like a CNA job is a great way to start, because it helps you care for all parts of this patient, okay? And then once you've passed that CNA part and you're moving ahead in your education, then to take care of more difficult patients is the way to go. But you will be a better nurse in the end if you've learned how to take care of all those physical and emotional needs of your patients.
What are pressures you contend with?
Contend.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
Do you know the difference between those two words?
No.
That pressures that I deal with all the time, contend with. Where you said the word content, it'd be like I feel happy and secure, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay, you see that D and that T makes a big difference. Okay, no, I just help you with that. Okay, so what are some of the pressures that I deal with personally with my job, or that you might deal with as a CNA? Or
like just in general?
In general. I think pressures that we deal with nurses, number one, we always feel like we don't have enough time to give the best care that we want to give, okay? If we have, 7 or 8 patients in a day and we have to give all their care, sometimes that's difficult. Some patients take a little bit longer than others, and then we feel like we're shortchanging another patient. The same happens in the hospital. I think that's one of our biggest pressures, is making sure that we do a really good job and a thorough job with our patients.
What would you do if a patient falls?
Oh, number one, we check to make sure that they're okay. Okay, their safety, number one, is what we want to check for. And then once we know that our patients are okay, or if they need care, we'll take care of that. In the end, you're going to have to write an incident report so that the supervisor on your floor knows what happens and knows how you cared for that. And in the future, you'd want to make sure that we would call them a fall risk. We'd have special pads by their bed, and make sure we always had help for them getting in and out of bed.
So how exactly can you change their self-esteem?
Change your own self-esteem or a patient's?
The patient's self-esteem.
How can I change a patient's self-esteem? Number one, helping them understand maybe what their disease process is, and that's not anything that they did wrong necessarily, but that's just something they have to deal with, and then to give them the skills and the equipment and that kind of thing that they need to help take care of themselves.
Is there any additional info that you can give me
about my job? My job is extremely rewarding. Like, I don't want to quit, because I love to have students come in my lab. I love to teach them. I love to see how scared they are in the beginning, and I love to see how they build confidence, and their self-esteem increases as they learn more and they get more confident with what they're doing. And I'm preparing them for part of their future. I like that.
Okay. What kind of advice could you give me?
Advice for you. You have a wonderful, caring spirit. I know you like to help people. So I would encourage you to follow that. Study hard. Like we heard yesterday from the doctor, your grades are really important. You're doing a good job here with me today with good eye contact. You came pretty prepared for our conversation, which is a really good thing. Okay? The more direct you can be in your conversation with your patients, the better. Make sure that you speak well to them, and make sure they understand what you're doing. Always explain what you're going to do to a patient so they don't feel scared. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. Don't ever be afraid to ask for advice from people that you respect. There's people that want to help you, and take the help that you can get.
Okay.
Okay. Keep your eyes on your goal. You'll have some hard days. Keep your eyes on your goal, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, that's all.
Is that good?
Yeah.
So